Absolutely nothing happening right now. 2 hours and counting to go. Wait, 2.5 hours before the 49ers are on the clock. And we have hit full chaos mode. I wasn't planning on coming on until sometime after the draft, but I almost feel like I have to come on now. I actually did get in the lake this afternoon, and I only made it like a 10 or 15-minute swim. It was just beautiful out there, but it was right after the first Aaron Rodgers stuff dropped, and I just couldn't risk being away from my phone or for the computer for too long. But I'm so happy I did it because, God, my head hurts already from everything that's happened today. Absolute chaos. There are no absolutes. I think that's the best way to frame all of this. Back in January, after the Packers were eliminated by the Buccaneers in the NFC Championship game, the day after Aaron Rodgers had his locker room clean out press conference, which is what we like to call those, the day after a team is eliminated from contention. And it was really weird because he was talking very philosophically. And I know Aaron Rodgers is like that. He's a thinking man's kind of quarterback, and he does like to speak philosophically. But, in that really soft voice of his, it was actually something that I really agreed with, something that we could always apply to these NFL rumors. Aaron Rodgers was speaking about how there are never any absolutes in NFL circles when it comes to predicting the future or, saying that a guy's going to be with a certain team at this point in time, and that no absolute rule applied even to him, Aaron Rodgers of all people, with Green Bay. And that's absolutely come full circle here, 4 or 5 months later. We're now at the draft day, April 29th, and it appears that there definitely are no absolutes with Aaron Rodgers. Now, there's multiple reports floating around out there. A few have suggested that the 49ers have either come close to offering or, I don't know, called Green Bay about Aaron Rodgers' services for the future, and that Aaron Rodgers really wants to come to the 49ers. And I think that's all that we know right now. But it throws a complete wrench, potentially, into what the 49ers have to do here in about 2.5 hours, and that's to decide what to do with their number 3 overall pick. Now, I will say that the 49ers, I think, knew about this well ahead of today. I think that Aaron Rodgers decided to drop this bomb on draft day to get a little bit of attention, maybe put a little bit of pressure on the Packers. But the 49ers definitely knew about this earlier. And I think it explains a lot of Kyle Shanahan's more cryptic comments from the press conference on Monday. You go back to, well, I can't guarantee that anybody will be alive come Sunday. That was all part of a longer string of thoughts from Kyle Shanahan, emphasizing that you don't know what's going to happen in between now and the draft, that this is the NFL, that it can be wild. And it has been common knowledge here for a while that Aaron Rodgers is not, satisfied or not fully happy in Green Bay. I mean, this goes all the way back to them using their first-round pick on Jordan Love, the quarterback last year. So it's not like it's been a total secret that, something might happen with Aaron Rodgers. And I think that's what all the tumultuous stuff from those January press conferences originated from as well, that there isn't, an eye-to-eye connection between Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay front office right now. And it's definitely something that goes beyond Green Bay's supporting cast. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has had the best offensive line in football, and he's had Devontae Adams to throw to. So it's not like he could be overly mad about what the Packers have surrounded him with, but it sounds like there's a more personal level issue between Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay front office. And for teams that might be interested in acquiring Aaron Rodgers, I think that's positive, big news. That means that there is much more of a chance that something might not work out between Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers, because this is much more of a front office personal level thing than just, we need to get him a better receiver. We need to make his offensive line better. He's already been playing behind an excellent offensive line. But to say the least, it's just completely wild, especially for this to drop at this time, which I think was by design from Aaron Rodgers. It just makes this a complete whirlwind. By the way, buried in all of this is the fact that Trey Lance became the betting favorite earlier today. So it's already been a wild day on top of that. Does that indicate who the 49ers might pick? Absolutely not. But it just shows you how crazy the fan fervor and the fan roller coaster throughout all of this has been. We have now seen Justin Fields, Mac Jones, and Trey Lance each hold stints as the betting favorite across all sports books for the number 3 overall pick. So, I mean, the day would have already been wild, I think, just given that knowledge, given the fact that Trey Lance had taken the lead, at least in the betting markets, based on where the money is flowing, based on what people think. But it just went into absolute overdrive with this Aaron Rodgers stuff coming out on top of that. And as I speak, it's 2:54 p.m. Pacific time. The 49ers will be on the clock at what, 5:20 p.m. Pacific time. So that's what I'm saying, about 2.5 hours. We still may have more twists and turns before then. In fact, I should probably check Twitter right now, which is what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to answer some questions. Got the TweetDeck app. Oh, Jed York is tweeting a lot too. That's pretty funny. So you have Jed York tweeting, you have the betting markets changing by the hour, and you have Aaron Rodgers not happy in Green Bay with rumors of the 49ers have been at least very interested in him. So let's take a look at some of these questions. Yes, it has been chaos. I can't tell you that Aaron Rodgers is coming to the 49ers, but I can tell you that that's certainly something that's on the radar now that we'll be tracking here. How many miles should Jed York run? Well, I think he should run 5 miles, but that's just my prediction. And now that was before I knew that Aaron Rodgers was, this is just too crazy for me right now. I mean, entering this whole situation, today's situation. So over the course of the past month, I've always thought the 49ers' most prudent course of action would be either Trey Lance or Justin Fields on the same roster as Jimmy Garoppolo for 2021, because I found it hard to believe that you can immediately get better or at least immediately stay the same with a rookie quarterback in the National Football League. I really think that there is a learning curve, that usually bad teams that draft number 3 have a little bit of a grace period to absorb that learning curve, because it doesn't matter if you're losing games anyway. But the 49ers aren't a bad team. And if they're really primed to try to go on a Super Bowl run, they need to make sure they don't lose that little extra bit of oomph from the quarterback position early on while a rookie's getting his feet wet. So before all this madness, I thought that what the 49ers were talking about early in April made the most sense. And that's, use this pick on a quarterback, but, use your current guy who's played well, especially when he's been healthy, as a bridge. But I think all of that can kind of go out the window right now. It's a blank slate. We're entering this draft day not knowing what the hell is going on, and it's just going to be fun to sit back and analyze it and really start from that spot of not knowing anything. This has been one of my lines throughout the whole thing, and I think people are finally coming around to it right now on the internet. It is okay to say, I don't know. I mean, there's always this race to feel, this guy is for sure going to be the pick, or that guy's for sure going to be the pick. For weeks, I've been saying, I don't know. It's okay. And now I think you see a lot of people tweeting, yeah, nothing would surprise me. I really don't know. And the reason why we don't know is that the 49ers have held this in absolute secrecy. I mean, Jed York probably knows, right? We see him tweeting right now. He's joking around with it. But I reported this morning, hearing from somebody in the building, the 49ers did not even let their coordinators know. So John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are the only 2 football people in the building that have let that know what the plan is here for number 3. So not even Mike McDaniel knows, not even DeMeco Ryans knows. Obviously, DeMeco Ryans is a defensive coordinator, but the coaching staff, which has been in on draft meetings, does not know the pick. That's how extraordinarily secretive the 49ers have been about this. And that's why the betting markets are fluctuating. That's why reports seem more flimsy than they ever were, because there just hasn't been an opportunity for a leak, right? Unless Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are doing a leak themselves, there hasn't been an opportunity for one. Normally these things come from, a lower rung of the coaching staff or somebody in the building who knows. But people in the building only know maybe finalists, maybe, which way Kyle Shanahan is acting on a certain day, or, what John Lynch might have said. But people don't actually know in the building who specifically this pick is, what the plan is for number 3. And because of that, there isn't, anything very concrete to report off of, which is why, as a result, we've seen all this chaos. And I could tell you what, I don't know if it's ever happened that 3 different players would be the favorite to be picked at such a premium draft pick. But we've now seen Mac Jones, we've seen Justin Fields, and of course, currently Trey Lance in that driver's seat. And that just shows you that the public doesn't know what the hell is going on. Maximum confusion, maximum chaos. And then on top of that, you pour a little gasoline onto that fire with what's happening with Aaron Rodgers right now. So this is just unprecedented. In larger picture terms, we always said that 2020 was a wild year. For sports, it was crazy too, because it was so weird seeing everything. I think 2021 is now saying hold my beer to 2020 as far as NFL happenings go, because the 49ers are at the epicenter of just an offseason that I can't remember. Somebody could tell me here in the comment section if they remember, something as crazy as today happening. But I think between all that has been reported and all the rumors that have crossed the internet, combined with how social media can amplify things instantaneously, I think we're living in unprecedented football madness right now. So why don't we enjoy the next couple hours while I look down for more questions? How much have I enjoyed the run-up to draft day? To be honest, I haven't enjoyed it that much. My specialty in content are, deep dives, features, stuff that I could actually dig into concretely. I only gave a prediction for the draft because that's something I almost have to do these days, because everybody is tweeting me every single day. You guys are getting here on YouTube. What's your prediction? What's your prediction? What's your prediction? I think it's a good way to set yourself up to look really foolish to predict the NFL draft. I did it. Trey Lance is my prediction. I think it's a race between Trey Lance and Justin Fields as far as the number 3 pick, if we don't include Aaron Rodgers in this mix. So I made my prediction. I have the conviction to stick with it. We'll see if it's right. We'll see if it's wrong. It might be wrong because the draft is such a big crapshoot. But that's also a reason why I don't really like April, and why I hated the fact that the 49ers made this trade so early. They could have spared us and made it yesterday or 2 days ago, but no, they made it on March 26th. So you have to sit here and you actually do have to project. You do have to predict. And it always sets you up to, be really uncomfortable because you don't know which way it's going to go. But hey, it's just sports, right? It's fun. It doesn't really matter if you're predicting the quarterback, who the 49ers are going to pick, incorrectly. I did do my best to fully gather all available information and all, available nuanced stuff that wasn't necessarily information regarding what the 49ers are thinking, but information that I, connected 2 dots with, as far as, who's running play action, who's turning their back to the defense. What is this quarterback doing as far as pre-snap protection and, divvying that responsibility up between him and the center? How is he taking that skill set from college, and how might it project to the 49ers? So I took all of that into account into formulating my prediction. And at the end of the day, I like Trey Lance and Justin Fields the most out of these quarterbacks. Now, I also like Zach Wilson a lot, but we're also operating under the assumption that he's going to be taken by the Jets at number 2. And then when you consider that, and you consider what I said earlier, that there are no absolutes in the NFL, you can't discount Zach Wilson. And that could be another violent, wild twist coming up later when this hits at 5:00. I'm taking a look at Twitter to make sure I didn't miss anything. Everybody's freaking out over Jed York's most recent tweet. How many miles should he run? 1, 5, 10, 12, 16, or 1? Zach Wilson's number is 1. Justin Fields' number is 1. So Jed York mentioned 1 twice. So that's code, right? Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. Trey Lance's number is 5. He mentioned that one. Betting favorite right now. Mac Jones, the opposite of the person of the hour. Nobody seems to want Mac Jones. He's number 10. That's also in Aaron Rodgers. That's also in Jed York's tweet. Trevor Lawrence's number is 16. But, he's a virtual lock to go at number 1. So that's off limits for the 49ers. And, of course, Aaron Rodgers' number is 12. That's also in Jed York's tweet. I hope that's not tampering. That might be tampering. Is there another quarterback drafted or in the draft pool this year that wears number 12? Jed York might have some explaining to do. He might have to say he was talking about some rando in the 5th round instead of Aaron Rodgers. Don't want to tamper in this situation. Green Bay seems a little bit on edge. Number 12 is retired with the 49ers. That was John Brody, former Stanford and 49ers quarterback. Looking at some more pictures. Somebody just wants him to trade for Mahomes. Yeah, Kyle Pitts would be interesting too. Where does he fit into all of this? Because, everybody in the NFL could use Kyle Pitts on their offense, but especially an offense like Green Bay's or San Francisco's could really utilize Kyle Pitts, the player who could line up at outside wide receiver and at tight end. Are you kidding me? That is, it's one of the many chess pieces in this whole thing. There'll be many dominoes that need to fall. Do you think Garoppolo knows the pick? The only way Jimmy Garoppolo knows the pick is if it's actually been Kyle Pitts or Sewell, the tackle out of Oregon. There is an alternate universe, or maybe it's this universe, who knows? There are no absolutes in the NFL, right? But say that the 49ers really just wanted to beef up their team and their arsenal, and they wanted to draft Kyle Pitts, even though it's extremely unlikely since they use so much capital to move up. I think they would probably tell that to Jimmy Garoppolo. Hey, Jimmy, we're drafting Kyle Pitts. Don't worry, you're going to get destroyed on social media. You're going to get destroyed in the regular media, but we can't defend you because obviously we got to keep it a secret because maybe they wanted to trade back a spot, and that might have blown up in their face since these draft picks don't seem to be worth that much anymore. But in that case, they would tell Jimmy Garoppolo that's the pick. Now, do I think that happened? No, but that would be the only instance in which I think Jimmy Garoppolo would actually know the 49ers pick ahead of time. How am I interpreting Jed York's recent tweets? Well, I think he's having a good time today. That's for sure. He seems very relaxed. That's for sure. And, to me, it comes back to the 49ers, in my opinion, did not tip their pick on Monday. If Kyle Shanahan really wanted to tip his pick, and I don't think there would be any downside of tipping a Mac Jones pick, if that were it, he would have just said the pick, right? There was no benefit to, semi-tipping it because everybody was going to jump all over anything that might have seemed like it was a Mac Jones lean anyway. So I think that the 49ers threw a bunch of crap up against the wall during that press conference on Monday to get everybody as confused as possible, to the point where we have to shrug and say, I don't know, which is why a lot of people that weren't saying that before are now saying that. I've been saying it the whole time. I'm proud of saying I don't know and not going out on a limb earlier than I should have in this situation, because so many people were just so sure it was going to be Mac Jones, But I think that Jed York's behavior is consistent with the fact that the outsiders truly don't know, and that maybe the 49ers will pick somebody who won't make their fans quite as mad as Mac Jones. We'll see. But because if Jed York is putting himself out there like this, then the pick is Mac, oh boy, there's going to be so much pressure on Shanahan, Lynch, and Mac Jones to go 16-0 next season. Essentially, it's going to be crazy, right? You already have a disgruntled fan base, an anxious fan base that's nervous that the 49ers will make a pick that has absolutely no value behind it as far as draft value goes. You can't convince me that Mac Jones wouldn't have been sitting there at least at number 12, or, maybe he's at number 6 or number 7. The 49ers could have traded up to number 6, right? After all that happened, it was very apparent they could have traded up to number 6. You can't convince me that you needed to trade up to number 3 to guarantee yourself Mac Jones. So the 49ers fans are also on edge already because they think that this might be the pick. And then Jed York is out here having fun on Twitter. Well, if they actually do pick him tonight, oh God, that stacks the cards up big time against the 49ers. They would have to not lose a game for a long time to settle people down. So I think it will be more fun than that for the 49ers. But that's just my prediction. So we'll see as we move forward. I'm going to look at some more questions here. Yeah, Kittle seems in a good mood. Seen some of the stuff from him. Is the report that they narrow down to Lance and Mac even credible? I think it's something that came out of the building, but if you put two and two together, my report from today that nobody besides Kyle or John knows this pick, it might have come straight from them, T and Rappaport. And what does that tell you? That tells you that Kyle and John might be pulling some strings. Just saying. So I think the report might be credible, but I think that the sources and the sources, even if they are Kyle and John, might not be fully credible, which is totally okay because it's their job to do the best job running the team, not to tell the media the truth, which is why we have to look at every single report here, especially since Kyle and John are not sharing their plans. We have to look at every single report with a grain of salt. That's what I've tried to do. Think they already traded for Aaron Rodgers? Well, we'll see. According to reports, which obviously I just said you should take with a grain of salt, Green Bay is not interested in trading right now. So it seems like Green Bay is playing hardball with this Aaron Rodgers situation, with Aaron Rodgers not wanting to trade, in which case teams would have to draft according to their original plans, right? So a team like the 49ers, even if there's a chance to get Aaron Rodgers in the future, you can't pass up this number 3 opportunity right now with the hopes of something happening. You have to have a good idea that Aaron Rodgers will become available. And as of the latest reports, it seems that Green Bay is playing hardball and going to try to keep Aaron Rodgers. And there's only about 2 hours left before the 49ers make their number 3 pick for that to change within the appropriate time for that to affect the 49ers first round draft plan. So it's tough because they're crunched between a rock and a hard place. Now, there was another report that the trade talks were happening last night, or the offer or whatever. Aaron Rodgers was, there's just so much information out there right now. I think it was Trey Wingo that said that last night Aaron Rodgers was expecting to get traded, and obviously didn't happen. Right. So then you get into today, and today represents draft day, the 5 p.m. deadline, because that's when the picks start happening. And maybe Rodgers camp leaked this to Schefter and to everybody today because they were upset that it didn't work out yesterday, and they knew that this would be deadline pressure. Well, if it is about deadline pressure, I'll tell you what, the deadline is in exactly 2 hours, and that's not a lot of time. So let's just sit here and watch our Twitters refresh. Maybe we'll learn something new over the next 2 hours. I kind of wanted to take a nap before tonight, but I don't know if that's going to be possible. Kellen Mond, I don't know. Kellen Mond is not a first-round talent, though, so we won't even be dealing with that today. Well, the Vegas odds are always accurate. The Vegas odds with Lance minus 150, Jones plus 125, and Fields plus 600. Somebody's asking if they're accurate. Of course they're accurate. They're accurate based on how the money's flowing, though. They're not accurate based on John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan's thinking. Look, this is the way that Vegas works. If a ton of money starts coming in on Trey Lance, and Trey Lance actually ends up being the pick, then Vegas is going to owe a lot of people a lot of money. So what Vegas has to do, what these books have to do as more and more action starts coming in on a certain name, is they have to lower the potential payout for that name. So Trey Lance was what, plus 200 or something yesterday, which is a big payout. That means, twice the money that you bet comes back to you if you bet for Trey Lance. Well, once Trey Lance started picking up momentum amongst the public and more people started betting for him, Vegas had to even it out a little bit, right? They couldn't expose themselves too much. They couldn't keep Trey Lance at plus 200. They had to encourage people to start betting on somebody else. So that's why the potential payout for Trey Lance gets smaller and smaller, which means better odds that he actually will be the pick. That's just what Vegas thinks based on how the money's flowing. Fortunately for people who don't want Trey Lance to be picked, Vegas is not making this call. Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch will be making this call. So I hope that explains it. Yeah, yes, the odds are accurate, but they're not accurate based on who the 49ers will actually pick. They're just accurate based on what the public thinks. And hey, this is sports. We can't take it too seriously. I like to kind of gauge what the public thinks. You go to my Twitter, I'm talking about all the time. I'm talking about polling. I'm talking about what people wanted in their mock drafts. I'm trying to serve the fans here. I'm trying to report what I know to be true. And right now, there's not a whole lot of that because the 49ers are keeping this behind closed doors. So I know as much as the offensive coordinator does right now, right? I'm trying to report what I know to be true, and then I'm trying to contextualize it for the fans. And the betting market is a good way to do that because the fans and the pulse of the fan base and the pulse of football fans everywhere, you don't have sports without that. So that's important. Jed York just tweeted at George Kittle, by the way. Why didn't you tell me how uplifting it is to read all of your mentions? Today has been so great making new social media friends. It's this weird line of tweets from Jed York today saying that he wanted to make friends on social media. I guess he's getting more followers, but he hasn't divulged anything yet. He's basically left all options on the table. Which slot receiver is a great pick for the 49ers? Good question. Amari Rodgers out of Clemson. Really good. Jalen Darden later in the draft. Amari Rodgers out of Clemson would be a good, just a stocky guy. Reminds me a lot of Deebo Samuel. Ironically, they went to rival college in South Carolina for Deebo and Amari for Clemson. But just well built, would be able to take handoffs, would be able to operate out of the slot, would give Kyle Shanahan one of those weapons that could move around the formation. We see him going in the second or the third round, though. So if the 49ers don't want to use as much capital on the slot receiver, I like Jalen Darden, maybe a fifth rounder. Look up Jalen Darden on YouTube right now if you have a chance. J-A-E-L-O-N Darden, D-A-R-D-E-N. Just look up his highlights. He might be the shiftiest player in college football. I mean, this guy, it's crazy. He's dead-legging people, doing all kinds of elusive stuff. And I think that with Kyle Shanahan, you're not necessarily having to look for another Deebo Samuel stocky type. I think you already have a couple power receivers, if you will, especially if they could get Jalen Hurd back. I think that shifty type at slot receiver, because punt returners also a need for the 49ers, I think that could really be the call for the 49ers. So I like Jalen Darden. I also like Demetric Felton out of UCLA. He played running back at UCLA, but he caught a bunch of passes. And then because he's rather small, just like Jalen Darden, smaller than Amari Rodgers, Demetric Felton decided to approach the Senior Bowl as a receiver. And he ran some nice routes, but on the Senior Bowl practices, he did a good job separating in Mobile, Alabama. So Felton, Jalen Darden, and Amari Rodgers, those would be my three draft picks for that slot receiver position. Is Danny Amendola still a free agent? I always wondered if, stuff goes wrong for the 49ers in the draft and they don't get a slot receiver where they want to, or even if they do and they want to insulate the position. Yeah, Danny Amendola is going to be 36 this year, still a free agent, but he's been decently productive in recent years over there in Detroit. So I would not rule that out. Obviously, Jimmy Garoppolo's future is very much in question with the 49ers, but some cool trivia. Who was the receiver? Let's see if you guys I'm just giving away the answer, so I'll ask the question, but I'm not going to take answers. Who was the receiver who caught Jimmy Garoppolo's first third down conversion pass in the NFL? It was Danny Amendola against the Arizona Cardinals when Garoppolo started for Brady in Deflategate 2016. And that was the year before Garoppolo was traded to the 49ers. So Amendola caught Garoppolo's first third down pass. It's a cool video. You could go watch it on YouTube. It goes Garoppolo's game-winning drive. First third down pass on a game-winning drive. I should qualify. I don't know who caught his first third down pass. It might have been Amendola earlier in that game. But on a game-winning drive, first big clutch conversion that Garoppolo had, it was Jimmy to Danny Amendola at what was then called, I believe, University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. I think it's State Farm Stadium now, which ended up being the future home of the 49ers. That was crazy too. 4 short years later, the 49ers would be playing home games in Arizona. Who would have thought? Let's see what you guys are saying. A few more questions, and then I'm going to go rest before this draft starts. Hope you guys enjoy these. This is the most viewers that I've had. I'm just starting with YouTube. I know that a lot of you follow me on Twitter or read The Athletic, and hopefully you follow along today, and I'll have a lot of nice pieces throughout the next couple of weeks, depending on what the 49ers do here. But I'm hoping to make these interactive YouTube lives a little bit more of the repertoire here, because it seems like people enjoy them, and it's a good way to talk about articles as they come out. I'm going to answer 2 more questions, and I'm going to go. Wouldn't we want another possession slot guy to replace Bourne? Yes, of course. That's why the 49ers are, I think, very interested in a player like Amari Rodgers in the draft, who catches the ball with his hands, not a body catcher. Watch any Amari Rodgers film, he plucks the ball out of the air. I really like that. I actually went to Clemson. I didn't go there to study, but I saw a game in Clemson in the 2018 season. Cool environment out there. Thought the Aaron Rodgers thing was already proven false. No, the Aaron Rodgers thing was never proven false. Aaron Rodgers is upsetting Green Bay. He might want out. We're not sure. And there's definitely been contact from other teams. We just don't know how far along it is or it might get. Would the 49ers give up the number 3 pick for Rodgers? That's a good question. I think it would probably have to be part of any package that they do send Green Bay if they do it, right now in the next 2 hours. Now, the problem is it's already so late in the game. And if Green Bay's not willing to trade right now, that's what makes this tricky. So do the 49ers have to pick somebody at number 3 that Green Bay might like in a trade, like a Kyle Pitts, or because Green Bay already has a quarterback even behind Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love. Now, George Kittle just tweeted Jed York back. Everyone on here is super friendly all the time. Don't type your name into the search bar. That's really true. I wonder if George Kittle's ever typed his name into the search bar. There's a lot of nice things said about George Kittle, though. Nobody ever really trashes George Kittle. Out of 49ers players, I think Jimmy Garoppolo takes the most abuse. I take some abuse on Twitter. That's always fun. But George Kittle is kind of immune to that. He's kind of the golden child right now. I'm sure Jed York takes his share of abuse too. So anyway, that's it. Yeah, everybody does love Kittle. One more question here that I just have to address. I just saw it. Why do you think Kyle doesn't want Justin Fields? We don't know if Kyle doesn't want Justin Fields. In fact, I think Justin Fields is a good chance to be picked tonight at 5:20 p.m. with the number 3 overall selection of the San Francisco 49ers. People think that Fields is somehow out of the mix based on what exactly? Based on a report that came out Sunday that said that it was Lance and Jones, even though we've had subsequent reports that have said that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have not told anybody to pick. I mean, just put 2 and 2 together. This is a wide open race right now. And if it is a wide open race, like I think it is, then the 49ers trade up from number 12 to number 3. Spending that much draft capital should tell you a lot about who the 49ers might want to pick. I'll just leave it at that. So question everything you think you know at this point, just because we are in very uncharted territory as far as nobody actually knowing the pick. So even reports are built on much flimsier ground than normal. All right. Well, we'll see what happens in 2 hours. It's exactly 3:22, and I think that's when the 49ers will be making their pick at 5:22. Yeah, we'll have another episode of Here's the Catch. I think we're recording it tomorrow morning. We're just waiting for stuff to actually settle itself down and know what's happening before we talk about it. We'll see what ends up happening this evening, not just the 49ers pick, but everybody else. Will they trade back into the first round? Probably not, but who knows? They have a lot of draft capital. But yeah, this has been already, before it's even started, in my opinion, the craziest draft day ever. Kevin Costner went to my high school, Mount Whitney High School in Visalia, California, and he was the star of Draft Day, the movie, which was a little bit like what we're watching today. So we'll see if the 49ers bring it all full circle and go full Kevin Costner on us. John Lynch goes full Kevin Costner in a couple hours. So everybody enjoy, and I will log on at some point when I have time. All right. Check it out on the Twitter and the Athletic. See everybody later. Enjoy tonight. Enjoy some good food too, and don't stress out too much. It's just football.